Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaythoven, and I want to have another video about like just some more philosophy of music. This one's particularly for like melodies, and I think like this could really help. Now, earlier before I made this, I feel like I had a lot of ideas floating in my head that would have been like really cool to have, but then I like sat for a second, and I might have forgot some of them. I really don't write anything down because like these are things that I believe, and I think like understand like I think if you just have a philosophy on things, right? It's basically like a belief. It helps you build a foundation off of something, you know? So it's just with melodies in particular, right? I believe that it even goes beyond just like melodies, right? In general, like people seem to be paying into a lot more attention to like different things, like ADHD almost. You have people watching like 5 different videos in like one little YouTube short, because their eyes can handle it. It's like they can almost differentiate from them, but not really, to a degree. But our ears though can, you know, and it's just like we're told to be very simple with our melodies, and yes, that's true. But what's wrong with the complexity? Right? There's nothing wrong with complexity if you can mix it all together. Because it's like a recipe, and the more complex, the more things that are in the for the palate to taste and all that type of stuff, right? It's like the more there is to discover and explore within the soundscape, right? It's beautiful, right? And I think that's just something like if you can understand that, it's just it could help you along with like the sound that you're trying to create. Maybe that's just me, but me particularly, I like to put a lot of different melodies together. But you can have like the most very basic stuff, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. And this is what it sounds like. I think it sounds beautiful. I've already uploaded some of it. And it's just like I have I don't really have a great way of giving you like a formula or anything like that, except for the fact that at least it has to be in the same key. All right, because at the end of the day, like it's a lot of effects. I have a lot of effects like on the main part, like this part right here. That's a lot of effects, right? This is what it sounds like without that. I mean, I don't think you understand how different that sounds. It's insane to me, to be honest. Like it still sounds, you can still hear it, but it just changes everything for the rest of the melody. It's because it's not as hard. It's not as like just in your face. You know what I mean? And I can feel like I can add like different sounds to it. Because why not? Like, and it's a bunch of counter melodies too. It's a bunch of counter melodies. And the thing is this right here before I even get into it. Okay, it's just like I have a harp which is in context 7 and a guitar. So those are like the pluck things, instruments and all that stuff. Like even though I have all these different melodies, I still can create different counter melodies for these two instruments. You know what I mean? And I say it and I at least believe it in these because like these are the instruments that we have embedded within human history. A harp, a guitar. You know what I mean? We're gonna listen out for that. It's not like the synth sound comes naturally in human nature. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like think about that. But the thing is, it's just me in general, like just melodies. It's just they're just not difficult for me. So it's just like I could always listen every single bar. I feel like I could just create a different melody, right? But that's really not what you want. See, when I first started, it's not really about just having a bunch of melodies, though, okay? Because in order to fit all the melodies in there, you have to mix it properly, right? Yeah, they tell you about like the panning and the leveling, and that's basically like what it is for getting all these melodies in here. And maybe some EQing. Because when I first started making music, it's like that's what I heard. I'm like, dang, I like what I would do is actually stand up, walk away from what I was doing while it was still playing, and I would still hear sounds that weren't in the song. And it's just like, well, how do I incorporate in this, right? Like I hear something that's just floating out and about in that stereo field. How can I capture it? You know? But I don't have all that necessary knowledge to be able to create every sound at my fingertips, even though I have the tools. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it takes me a long time, because then I start to try to find different alternative sounds that can match with everything. You know, so it's just like it's a mixture of sounds that can match, right? Because they just have to be able to build an environment. You're not gonna travel to a dimension where you have like, and in a movie you'd see it, but like, you know, like techno jungle, you know, like, and I don't mean like in music, right? I mean like a jungle, like in nature, with like cyborgs. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? What environment is that, right? So it's just like when you walk into an environment from your melodies, it's just like you want these sounds to blend together, you know. So it's just, yeah, I mean, a lot more other stuff, I guess. It's just hard for me to explain it, because it's just like the if you want an artist on your track, it's not like the thing is, it's not dependent on the melody. The melody sets the mood, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're making trap, you can just run the snare on 3 and 7, the kicks, 808s, hi-hats, blah blah blah, nothing crazy, right? And people can make hit songs off of just the beats, right? But it's just like, I don't know. I just think being able to incorporate just everything, like, I mean, like I said, you see all these effects on here, you know, like deja vu, that's basically halftime, right? Saturator just allows you to bring out some more harmonics that might be not easily heard, or create some harmonics. I like saturation. The thing is that when I put it on the vocal, because that's the final instrument, by the way, but when I put fast saturation on the vocal and on the master, started to hear like a lot of S and stuff like that. I don't know what that was, so that's just a tip for anything. I think saturating vocal has to be very slight, like they say it, but then again, it starts to make an S-ing sound. It might have just been the saturator that I was using, but yeah, so it's just like, it's really effects. It's really effects, you know. I personally like delay. I'll put delay on full wet on some things, for real, because it doesn't ruin the beat. It changes the timing for things within the melody, but it doesn't change the beat. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. Like when you have all these effects to create these melodies, it's like you want to make sure the timing is going to be right too with your metronome. So it's just like, honestly, it's going to also take ear training. You need to have good timing, because when it came to this right here, I actually had to alter all these notes. Like this note right here was right there. I think I had to alter it right there. It's because of how the halftime, both of them, was actually changing the thing. So it was very slight, because like you hear how it sounds so like just and you know what? And that's perfect, all right? That's a perfect example right here of you need these sounds to make sense when you put them together. It's because I have all the sounds in the melody playing, but like because I got rid of the effects on like the main sound, you see how, like I said, you're going into a jungle and then you start seeing like cyborgs and technology. It doesn't make any sense. What type of environment is this? And so like, let's listen back to how much it clashes. Sounds terrible, and I think it clashes a lot, because honestly, this is a pluck. These guitars are a pluck. There's a lot of pluck in here, so I think maybe it could be like a frequency thing, but that just sounds terrible, right? It's crazy how different it sounds with the. Come on now. There's no right way to add your effects to your melodies, okay? And I'm assuming people know how to make melodies at this point, to be honest, because I can't teach how to make a melody. I could, I guess, if you just, I don't know, right? Like these deja vu and illusions things right here, like if I added these in different ways, it changed the effects. Because let's say this deja vu has got 1/4 and this is at half. If I switched it, I think it changed it or something like that, especially if I put the illusion in between it, you know? And I could try to show that right now, but I'm not going to, because what if I'm wrong? You know, that'd be garbage. Let's try it out, you know? Hopefully it works in the way that I want it to. Let's put illusion first. There's a difference, okay? I promise that little end, little flare, that delays at the end, it's different. I don't know if it sounds muffled. But what I do know is that you can hear the effects of how I tried to mix it more clearly, keeping it to where it initially was. So it's just like, oh man, I feel like I'm not really being useful in what I'm saying. But it's just like, I mean, I'm guessing this is for the melodic person, people who can hear this, you know, and put multiple melodies together. You know, it's just, you gotta mix it together. You gotta mix it together, you know. I don't know. Maybe this wasn't useful. But I guess we can hear this whole thing. How much time did I get? Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. It sounds like hot garbage.
I reach big dog status. My bitch, she stay the baddest.
It's like super repetitive, to be honest, because I kind of got bored, even though I got all as far as to put my lyrics over it. But to change that excuse me, change that, you like I said, going back to the guitar and the harp aspect, that's what you want to change. Like, so if we go back to like this bridge part right here, like, listen to that. I'll turn the harp up again. Me turning the guitar and the harp up doesn't even sound good, I'm not gonna lie. But like, those should they kind of stand out more when they're not louder. You literally just play it though, so it's just like, and this is something that I hear out for, just because like, it's just my ear. Like, when I first started making beats, I was like, okay, beats low-key seem simple because you can make them simple, but the mixing part, the sounds, like, you can add effects to your stuff, but sometimes it's cool to add a delay. Like this guitar does have a delay, but let's just say the harp kind of plays a little bit after the guitar because of a different delay that it has or something like that, you know. It kind of sounds like a, you know, it's like a guitar giving a harp delay, you know. Basically is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it sounds interesting. And honestly, the cool thing about this is that these melodies are interchangeable, right? We can do this. We can do this. Anyway, I mean, I just wish there was more I could be helpful for, to be honest. Still more things I need to be, like, better at. Maybe I'm just a melodic person, because at the end of the day, lyrics are also melodic, you know. So it's just like, yeah, maybe it's just something that I'm okay at. But yeah, I'm getting bored, getting tired.